Hey everyone! We're live.
Yep. All right. Welcome back to Monday Night Monster Jam, episode 30. 30. 30. Holy moly. What happened there? How did we get to 30 episodes? Holy shit.
You just kept going.
Yeah. Hey, apologies to you guys. I will tell you the absolute truth of what's been going on. I've kind of kept it quiet. I keep my personal life pretty much quiet. You know, I'm not one of those that goes on Instagram or Facebook and blubbers my whole life story and personal info because it's just not who I am. I pretty much keep it to myself. But for transparency and just to let you guys know, we're not missing Monday Night Monster Jams because for any old reasons or for the sake of just being lazy. Our intention is to be here every Monday night if we can, but sometimes we can't. Two things happened last Monday. One, Sam had to work overtime and stay and get work done at the job, so that wasn't going to happen. And two, I had COVID, so that wasn't going to happen either. And since I had COVID and I was contagious, I was not going to put anyone at risk, including Sam. But funny enough, the Monday before, I did put him at risk because that's when I contracted it. 3 days earlier. So I had been messing around with a little bit of COVID, got rid of it. I'm back to healthy, doing good, feeling great. Didn't have it that bad. It definitely put me out though for a bit. And I also had like a prior to that, just a few weeks before, I had a nasal kind of infection thing I had to take care of with antibiotics. That kind of came back when the COVID hit. So it's just, I was a little bit of a mess and wasn't able to function and do what I normally do. So we had to cancel the show, and that's, you know, just the way things roll sometimes, you know, there's nothing I can do about it. But we're back and we're stoked to have you guys on with us tonight and see you guys and see all the normals. Let's start the show off as we always do, with just a shout out to everyone that's joining us. Let's see who we got. John Eubank, welcome back. I'm Not Vintage, I'm Grumpy, welcome back. Kurt S, welcome back. My Mental Factory, welcome back. Chris Dawson, welcome. Kevin Young, Jason Giaconetti, Michael, I better put my Strappick. I better put my glasses on. JP, Dyer GM, welcome back. Neil Leffler, Cody Hatfield, welcome back, guys. Jamie Ventura, good to see you. Neil Leffler, I said that. My Mental Factory, I said that. Aaron Blah, Daniel Watkins, welcome back. Creative Critter, welcome. Aaron Blah, I said that one. Leonardo de los Santos, welcome. Hello, Neil. Let's see, we did Neil. Griffin Terry. Trying to see if there's any others. Chris Bolton, Jesse Rubin, Woogie, welcome everyone, and welcome back those of you that are joining on a regular basis. We truly appreciate you guys hanging with us. As always, like and subscribe. It helps the channel. Also, some more transparency. We've been working on, the channel has been up for monetization for a while, but we are stuck, and I'm trying to work out, Sam and I are trying to figure out what the heck is going on. We've tried to monetize the channel, but we keep getting denied by YouTube, or not YouTube. We get denied by
Google. I think it is.
Is it Google? Not Google. Who is it? It's the one that YouTube goes through. AdSense.
Yeah, that's it.
AdSense, and they don't tell you why or give you any reasons. They just don't even. YouTube tries to tell you why, but it's ridiculous. So I think what the problem is we have an extra Google account maybe. We're afraid to erase it because it could erase something we don't want erased.
Yeah, God forbid.
So we're trying to get solved because we've been up for monetization for months now, and you know, we want to get the channel monetized, not because we're looking to make millions of dollars off anybody, but you know, we want to do stuff like super chats and just increase the channel, get the live chat on there so everyone can see it on the screen and stuff like that. Just make it better. We're just trying to make the show better. And any money that the show does make will go right back into the show to buy equipment and make it even that much better. So that's what we're trying to do. Anyway, that's something else we're working on. let's see what else. Gosh, I'm losing my train of thought here.
It's the holidays. It's throwing me
holidays.
off too.
Yeah, we got holidays. Crazy times right now. There's a lot going on. Hopefully you guys are getting all your shopping done and out of the way. Inflation's nuts. Everything's pricey. I just paid for 2 Ubers today, $17 each trip. Holy moly, man. It is what it is. But we're alive and we're well, so that's the important part. I don't want to get too carried away into negativity on this channel. I'm trying to keep this channel as positive as possible. I have my griefs and my things, but just kind of want to be upfront with you guys and just say, trying to keep this channel, a positive thing. It's tricky these days. I mean, now with this whole inflation, inflation, that's a good word. Introduction of AI art that is going around and driving everyone crazy, arguing and fighting, which I think is, that part's unnecessary. Artists shouldn't be fighting and arguing with each other over stupid stuff like this. But it's a scary thing, and I get it, and it's a weird thing, and I'm as you guys know, I'm not on board with AI art. I have artist friends that do it, and it's and I see what they're doing. They're taking their own art, and twisting around their own art that they've created, in ZBrush or what have you, and using it that way to see what else they can get out of it. But yeah, the problem with it is that any person can just make art now and use other artists' art, and I see where the grievances are and where the problems of licensing and rights and things like that and stealing. There's a lot of good that can come of it, and there's a lot of bad, and that's the truth. And there is no argument to be made for either way, that one's not to worry or not or do worry or whatever. Everyone's got to go about it their own way. My thing is, I'm not a fan of it. I truly believe art should come from the heart, the body, the mind, your fingers, yourself, not a computer thinking for you. I cannot get behind that. I'm sorry. But that's just me. That's my opinion. And you know what? More power to those using it and want to explore and do whatever they want to do. Great. Go for it. I'm so much of a traditionalist that I work in clay still most 99% of the time when I sculpt. I don't even go into ZBrush hardly. I love ZBrush. Great program. But and one day I'll get more into it, but not for me right now. So enough about that. There's a lot of stuff going on with that. And I haven't even posted the whole AI crossed out logo because
I was going to say, I've been seeing that a lot this whole weekend.
Yeah. I want to, but I also want to turn off notifications then, because I'm not sitting there arguing with people all day long trying to make my point to people that don't get it, and then, have to sit there and argue about AI all day. I don't have time to argue about AI or anything else, much less. So that's why I've refrained from posting it, but I do stand behind all those artists.
That's what's important, I think.
Yeah, I do agree and do stand behind them. There must be some guidelines and rules as to what can be done and not done. So, just to protect other people's art. I mean, artists have worked. Keep in mind that most professional artists have worked 25, 35 years, if not longer, to craft their skills to make a living and enjoy what they do. They chose that field because they love it. Art is not a chosen field just because you want to make money. I mean, a lot of artists struggle, and the truth is, art is a field chosen out of passion and love and dedication. And when you have that put in for that many years, it's hard to just stand by and see some simple program come along thing and just like, okay, we can just create art in a half a second. We don't need brains behind it. We don't need someone's thought process behind it. It's hard to accept that, So I get it totally. So yeah, I do stand behind my fellow artist friends and not so much the AI stuff, But is it a powerful tool? It sure is. Sure is. Am I scared of it? No, not really. I just have concerns. All right. boom. I will get off that soapbox because I'm not here to preach at you guys and waste your time with that. There was an
awesome question asked, and while I was sick, a friend of mine called me up and he asked me this question. That was a great question. He just asked it on here. John Eubanks asked, how many model kits have you sculpted? And do you even know?
That is a good question.
It made me think. I was like, I wonder how many model kits and sculptures I've done. I mean, sculptures, no, I can't. I don't think I could ever figure out exactly how many sculptures I've done. I mean, maybe I'd have to sit down for a while because it's tons of masks and model kits and other stuff for companies. And then effect stuff left and right. Tons of effect
sculpting on TV shows and movies. So I don't even know. I'm not even going to begin to try and figure out that. But the model kits, I did sit down and just try to figure it out. And I went through everything I could possibly find and remember. I'm sure I'm missing a few. But I came up with, over my career, which is now 20 some odd years later, I don't know, 26, 27, 28 years, I don't know where I'm at now. Somewhere in there. I've managed to sculpt 112 different things that I can recall, which is not a lot, but it is and it isn't, that's model kits, not it doesn't count my masks. It doesn't count other sculptures, other commissions or whatever. It's just model kits because the guy asking, John, is into model kits. So, but it was interesting to think about, and I know I'm missing some. I'd have to go through, look at all my molds. Oh yeah, that thing. Oh, that thing. So I know I'm missing some. In fact, I just thought of one right now. So, but it was cool. It was an interesting thing to go back and kind of like look at. I never thought to go back and look at like how much of anything I've sculpted, or never really cared, and then when the question was presented to me, I was like, wow, it's kind of interesting to see. And then so I made a list, and it was cool. Keep adding to it. And anyway, so with that, I was like, well, speaking of model kits and sculpting and all those things, let's get back to sculpting. We've been doing quite a bit of painting lately on the show, and I do want to do more sculpting. So I do have a bust with me that's in monster clay gray, medium, and it's this gargoyle looking creature that I started a while back, and every once in a while I bring it out and just kind of doodle on it and tweak it and change it. This thing is very, very, very much inspired, 100%, well, not 100%, but inspired by a mask by a super talented sculptor that unfortunately is no longer with us, but when he was, he was one of the best, and it's John Smith. And if you know the name or don't know the name, well, if you know the name, then you know Death Studios masks, and if you don't know the name, he sculpted a lot of Death Studios masks and other masks. But John was an incredible sculptor, incredible with character design and capturing character, and which is what I loved about his work. So he did this mask years ago called Cerebus. It's kind of demon thing, and so I started this as almost like a tribute, and then it kind of evolved from there. I changed things, like I changed the ears, and I changed some aspects of the face and some of the features and the way things work, and added some things of my own. And so it's slowly evolving into a mishmash of like almost like a John Smith, Casey Love tribute thing, or whatever, sculpture. So that's what I'll be working on tonight, just messing around. I'll be covering a lot tonight about tools and stuff as well, showing you guys some of the tools I like to use and why. And really quickly, and not to plug my own crap here, but I'm going to. I have some more. I still have some of these Santas. I don't know if anyone's seen these or not, or on here. I'm sure you guys have all seen them already. But But I have these custom Santa Claus heads that are done, ready to ship, that I'm selling. So if you are interested in one, let me know. This is an albino one. The hat does come off and goes on. This is an albino with a special candy cane base. Let's get him. He's got his beard. Santa's coming to give you some goodies, boys and girls. Anyway, more like Santa's coming to eat your brains for Christmas. Anyway, this is a albino one. I'm selling. I got him available. I've got this green one still available. Rotteny green. He's got a little bit of a thicker beard. Anyway, they're still available if anyone's interested. Hit me up. If not, no worries. They will stick around in the house and just be displayed. You can hit me up on Facebook or whatever for messaging or pricing or shipping, and I could get it to you if you guys order. If someone wants one, they order now. I can probably still get it out in time for Christmas with a rush shipping. Anyway, all right. So that just about covers it. Sam, what have you been up to, man?
Man, what have I not been up to? I actually, you know what? It's funny you ask. I went to something called the Festival of Lights out in Riverside this past weekend.
What's that?
It's a little, it's almost like a downtown block party out in Riverside.
Okay.
And they just have all of downtown decorated for Christmas, and like there's lights everywhere. Every store has like an open pop-up shop kind of feel to it.
That's
and
cool.
It is really cool. The food was amazing. Like,
yeah.
Holy mackerel. Like, you know the collection down near us?
Yes.
It's like that little open mini market.
Oh, yeah.
There's, they had something like that, but imagine something like that on like every street corner. Like it was,
that's cool.
It was crazy. It was
they have all the
fun.
crazy food, like donuts and stuff.
Yeah. I was able to go out there and visit with a friend of mine who I haven't seen in like almost 3 years. She's been out in Virginia studying medicine, and COVID happened, so she hasn't been able to visit California for the longest.
Right.
Both because of her job and because of COVID. So, yeah, nice little reunion with me and her. So.
That's cool. That's cool. Awesome. That sounds like fun, man. They have all that, like, deep fried food and all that going on? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The one thing I did end up getting, it was, oh my God, it was so good. It was a chicken gumbo and French fries, and I was just dipping the French fries in the gumbo, and I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I think I'm just gonna eat Cajun food for the rest of my life. I love
Cajun
cuisine.
food, man. Damn. Yeah, that's some tasty stuff, man.
Yep.
Nice. That sounds like fun, man. That's cool. That's very cool. Out in Riverside, huh? Dang. All the way out there.
It's funny. I was born in Riverside, and I used to live out in Riverside.
You were born there?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I was born in Redlands, and I lived in Riverside.
Okay.
All the way up through to I was like 7 years old.
Yeah.
And then we moved out here, or we moved out to like the LA area, and then we eventually bounced out here.
Yeah. What do you like better? Do you like Riverside, or do you like it out here better?
I was going to say, that's the funny thing. I don't remember anything about living in Riverside.
Oh.
I remember the Walmarts that they had there really
The
well.
Walmarts. Why? Is there a reason why, or?
No, my grandma just loved going to Walmart.
Oh. All right, cool.
And then, yeah, I was pretty much a stay-at-home kid. Like, I just played out in the neighborhoods with my friends.
Yeah.
From what I remember. But
Yeah. Wow. Anyone else out on the chat from Riverside or out that way?
know of it, no.
Or know of it.
It's like the Norco, Corona.
Norco,
Riverside
Corona.
area.
We lived out there for a little while. We lived in Eastvale.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, for a little bit. We're staying in Eastvale. And then, I mean, we've lived all over Simi Valley, Moore Park, all over the place. But yeah, we we were out that way for a while. Actually, at one point, I had a studio for a little bit in Lake Elsinore, which nobody knew about
I was going to say,
or
where's
cared.
that at?
Lake Elsinore?
Yeah.
So it's down the 15 freeway, like from Corona. If you went down south on the 15 and you kept going for another 30 minutes or so, you'd hit like Lake Elsinore and all that.
Okay.
It's down that way. Yeah, little ways down, getting kind of like nearing Temecula. Not quite Temecula though, like not that far, but heading that way. So anyways, all right, guys. So yeah, I'm one of the things I'm going to talk about. So I'm using Monster Clay Medium. And I don't know for sculptors out there.
It's funny. Cody Hatfield just asked about that. Are you using medium or?
Does look like Cerebus a bit, yeah. Oh, someone asked about it.
Yeah, are you a Monster Clay medium or a Monster Clay hard kind of guy, or does it depend on what you're working on?
Well, medium is my favorite for sure. Medium is definitely my favorite. You can mix a little, you can melt it down and put a little bit of the hard in there if you want it. If the medium is too soft for you, I wouldn't. I'd be careful. Like, don't do too much because it can get. Like I would probably start if you're gonna do something like that. I would take like a whole thing of medium and add like maybe a quarter of a tub of the hard stuff to that, and just try that because it'll definitely change it pretty quickly. I've done it before. I think I did half and half and it was too hard. Like I tried that once. I remember half a batch of medium, half a batch of hard, and it was just too hard at that point. So definitely can do that. You can intermix them anyway. But anyway, medium's my favorite. That's what I like to use the most. And gosh, I need my glasses. I can't even see what I'm doing. Gotten to that age. So with that being said, I'm working with medium tonight, and I'm just going to go over like some of the tools I use and what I like to use, because I change all the time. Sometimes I just get into moods where I'm like, oh, I want to see what I can do with that tool, or I have my favorites I always stick to for sure, but then there's other times where I'm like, oh, I want to experiment with, sometimes I'll see like another sculptor using a tool and I go, why do they like that tool so much? I hate that tool. And then I'll go back and go, wait, let me try it and give it a chance and see if it's any good. And then sometimes I'll discover I like it, or sometimes I'll discover why I didn't like it. So I don't know. And then there's other tools where I just forget about them and don't ever really think about them, and then I kind of go, oh wait, I haven't used that in a while. How come? So
I was gonna say right up until you rediscover it, kind of.
Yeah. Because like I'm like like all sculptors, you have a million tools that you don't really need. Obviously, your best tools are your hands. Everyone knows that. That's a given. But that only goes so far, and then when you get down to more micro adjustments, you have to go to tools, something that can be an extension of your hands. So right now what I'm doing is just like carving stuff away, and then I'm doing a process of like softening it down by using the edge of this wire loop tool to just soften some of the edges. Which I'll do that a lot. Sometimes I'll carve something and then I'll soften it. Anyways, so yeah, that's kind of tonight's show. Just a simple thing. I'm going to talk about different tools. So right now I'm using this Kemper wire tool. So this is this is going to be, I can't see, the thing's scratched out, the number. But anyway, this is a Kemper. So one side you have this sort of soft loop, and the other side you have more of a sharp triangle. So this side's good for pores and textures and carving finer lines, you know, like that. But you can also do pores in a direction. You can carve finer lines. This side you're gonna find is better for bigger areas, you know, carving in, you know, soft wrinkles or wide wrinkles and then softening down and reshaping. So this is a great tool. This is a good one. This is one of my favorite just simple wire tools as far as wire tools go. This is one of my favorites. Where do we start? I've got so many tools. Now this is a must-have tool right here. So whenever you work on sculpture and someone comes in the room and bothers you, you use this tool to get rid of them. And then you could go away, I'm busy. And you shoot them. I keep that handy. This is important, this tool. Or you can, you know,
use it to scare mice.
Scare small things. So yeah, let's go over some tools. Okay, and then you know, this is a weird one. This is like a dog brush or rubber animal brush, dog brush, cat brush, something like that I've cut into a square chunk. You know, it's flexible. And this is good just for kind of massaging over the sculpture to kind of soften down things, you know, areas as well, like this. And it doesn't look like it's doing much, but it really is once you use it. And you'll see it's good for softening some of the structures down a little bit. So that's a nice tool. These wood tools, a lot of people overlook. This is one of those examples. I overlooked this tool for many years, had it in my toolbox. You know, this was some, I don't know, cheapy Michael's Craft Stores tool or something, and overlooked it for many, many years. And then one day saw a sculptor actually using it, and I was like, oh my God, he's using that cheapy, crappy tool. And it made me think about it again, and I was like, maybe there's some merit to this tool. Now I use this tool all the time because this is an example of one I started playing with and then realizing, oh my God, this tool is awesome. And it's just great for coming in and shaping forms like this. And it has these little corners. You can get into tight areas, but you can really just kind of use this end to shape. Now I dremeled these teeth a little deeper than the way it came originally, or it might have wore out and I re-dremeled them in. So anyway, this is nice because you can just, you know, scrape it like this and go at different directions. And then of course this side you have a nice fat spoon shaped tool to add more clay and stuff like that. So this tool now has become like one I always use. Even with wedclay masks, I'm always using this tool. So this is a great one that I at one point overlooked. I barely ever touch this tool, but I always forget how great this tool is. This was a long tool, and I always cut my tools into short little handles. I don't like tools that are too long or the handles are too big. I always like to have them short like this. It just gives me, I have more control. But this one's got these great, like subtle ingrained teeth. You can't even really see them very well. These little teeth in there, and it's really good for just refining on a fine level or whatever. So that's a good one. This one I made. This is a tool I made out of some wooden dowel I had. And it took a long time, I remember, to shape this tool. And the reason I made this tool is I saw a buddy had one just like it. And actually, it was my buddy Steve West, who's an amazing garage kit sculptor in his own right. And he had something like this, and he was using it for Sculpey and applying large pieces of Sculpey and smoothing with like this, just smoothing things out. you know, he would sculpt these really beautiful female figures and monsters and things, and he would use these tools to just, and I realized how valuable this tool is, and so I made my own based on his. And one side's just kind of like a super thin, comes to like a very thin surfboard nose shape or something like that. And this side is the same, except one side's rounded. This side's kind of slightly rounded, and this side's flat. Whereas this one, like both sides are flat. This is definitely like a knife edge. But then this side has just a little bevel in it, just a tiny bit. And I tried to copy that tool of his. Anyway, this is a great one. I made it. I would love to hook up with a tool company one day, you know, to remake more of these. This is a burnisher from, you can buy this at any Hobby Lobby. This is a great one, just a big fat spoon. It's made for burnishing leather, and it's got a pick on this side, but it's great for clay. You can buy these all day long at Hobby Lobby. And then, you know, ball stylus is one that's often overlooked, but ball stylus tools are great, especially in the larger size. This is a dental one I happened to find and buy somewhere along the lines. 2 sizes, you know, it's got 2 different ends. But this tool is great for burnishing and even just like getting into places like this, you know, striations in the neck and refining. I use a ball stylus with Super Sculpey all the time, as well as Monster Clay, but mostly Super Sculpey. I use it more for that. This is an old tool I found I remember having. I just overlooked for years. Again, brought it back out recently. It was like, oh, you know what, let me play around with that little spoon, see if I like it again. Here's another one I made. This is a rake, and I used a jeweler's saw blade type thing, and I grinded the teeth away. And this is like my main rake if I'm gonna rake fairly large areas, like, you know, say his head here. I want to get all the imperfections out of the clay or whatever. Then I can use this to come in and do very light raking without taking too much clay away, but just a lot of refining of the surface to get that surface nice and looking really finished off and polished and ready for the next step, you know, which would be clean up and detail. You know, and I have a ton of tools here. I mean, I have other burnishers. Like, look at this burnisher. It's a whole different burnisher. Knife on one side, big fat burnisher on the other. I mean, here's a totally similar burnisher, but totally different that I found. Got 2 different end knives, you know, so you can find different burnishers. Of course, I've got all these Perfect Touch tools I've talked to you guys about before, but unfortunately Perfect Touch is out of business. These are micro. Again, these are tools I would love to have someone recreate that could do an exact job of these, because these tools are so invaluable for Super Sculpey and all clay. You know, this one's one of my all-time favorites, and these tools are amazing, but you can't get them anymore. I mean, I don't know what I would do if I lost this tool, you know. I mean, this is like, I use this tool on every sculpture that I do, except for masks. I don't use this tiny tool on a mask, but when it comes to small sculptures like this, this tool touches every sculpture I create. So if I lost that tool, I'd be trying to make it again or something. But I love this one. And then I've got other favorites, like your standard Kempers, you know, standard kind of pick on one side and then wood shape on the other. These little Kemper tools, these are golden, of course. And then I've got, you know, spoons of all sorts and sizes. Here's a awesome, here's like dental spoons are great. And then here's a really awesome spoon that was custom made for me by Old Monstrosity Shop. Old Monstrosity Shop on Instagram makes amazing tools. You should look him up. He made this one for me. This is so killer. So I keep all my favorites like in a little bin thing like this. You know, so anyway, you get the idea. So yeah, I'll just go over some of these tonight and playing around and just refining this guy, you know, his teeth and all the forms. So yeah, this is based on John Smith mask called Cerebus, and you know, like I changed a few things. I wanted to be somewhat faithful enough to his design, but then in certain areas put some of my own spin in there as well. I always loved that mask, so I thought it'd be cool to sculpt a little version. I probably should have done this as a mask, because then Death Studios could have put it out, but whoops, a little too small to be a mask. It could be a mini mask.
A finger puppet.
It's funny because years ago, many years ago, I was joking around. Well, I was sort of not joking around, actually. I was partly joking around and partly not about making mini masks. And the guy that runs the Mask Fest show, Eric Austin, he knows all about this. We would joke around about it. But for years, I joked at making mini masks, like, you know, which is kind of a joke, right? What do you do with a miniature mask, you know, like this big, like a tiny mask? Seems silly, right? And I always thought, like, yeah, what would be the point of doing that, you know, like it's kind of stupid, because what do you do with a mini mask? You can't wear it, so what's the point, right? It's kind of a joke. But then I went to Monsterpalooza, Son of Monsterpalooza, and there was a booth with mini masks, and I started dying. I was like, oh my god, they're so cool. That's why I should do them, because they were so freaking cool. And the little ones they had there were really cool looking. So I was like, oh man, that kind of works. That's funny. Mini masks. So this little tool I'll just use, if you watch how I use it, I can get into some of these tight areas and soften down some things, and then other areas I can just smooth out and stuff. Oh, and here's another tool, but you got to be careful with this tool. This is a little flame alcohol torch, and in here are a bunch of little balls and marbles, and then there's a kind of a cord that comes down, and there's some denatured alcohol. You have to use denatured alcohol, which is a clean burning fuel, and you light it like so. And then this is a cool little tool that like wax sculptors use or whatever, and you can, like, here, I'll do it over here. You can kind of hit wax or clay, oil-based clay. You don't want to do this with Sculpey or wedclay really too much. This is more for oil-based clay. But what'll happen is it'll smooth out. You know, you can go over. It'll smooth it out and get rid of all the wrinkles and stuff. It's a quick way to smooth it. Now, if you go too heavy with it, you'll melt. Literally melt your clay, especially monster clay, which is so sensitive to heat. But if you want a quick way to clean things up, this is a great little trick. You know, it kind of leaves a little bit of a glossy sheen to your sculpture too. I don't do too much of this, and I almost never use this thing. I'm just pulling it out just to show you guys something different that you can use. But you have to be very careful with this thing. You can obliterate forms and everything really quickly if you're not careful. So, but it is a handy tool at times. And I rarely ever use this thing because I don't think about it too much. But tonight I was digging around and looking for tools. I was like, oh, let me pull this thing out. So anyway, it's fun. You can get carried away when you don't want to use it. Just blow it out. So that's another neat little tool. Of course, now you gotta. The surface is going to be really warm and susceptible, especially monster clay. It's going to be very soft, so you got to be careful that you don't go and dig in and mess up your form. Let's see here. We want to fix some of these wrinkles here. Anybody going to Monsterpalooza in June?
Oh, it's in June this year?
I believe it's June 2nd through the 4th. Unless I'm wrong about that. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. It's looking like I've got a booth or 2 tables or whatever you call that. So, oh. Are we still live?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I lost it on my feed there. So, anyone going to Monsterpalooza? Or, if not, is anybody here going to Wonderfest in Kentucky, which is the next weekend, June 10th, for Wonderfest?
It's always summer.
Yeah, summer shows.
Summer in Kentucky, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just curious if anyone goes to these shows or is going to these shows. I'm sure I know a lot of people know Monsterpalooza, of course, but...
Yeah, Dyer DM is saying that they're hoping to go. It'd be their first one.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he'll love it. They'll love it.
And then Neil Leffler is saying they usually try to go to each Monsterpalooza. Chris Dawson, I might be at Wonderfest, says Chris Dawson.
Nice.
And then Michael Strapek says, I will definitely be at Palooza.
Nice. Very cool. Well, I'll see you guys at Palooza. I'm securing a spot there. So that should be cool. I'll be in a new location from where I was before. Because I kind of gave up my old location when I stopped doing the show for a few years just to take a break. So I'll be in a new spot, but that'll be cool. Should be interesting. Wonderfest, I think I'm going to try to go for fun. I don't know that I'll go there to be a vendor, especially after doing Monsterpalooza and then going to another show the next weekend. It'd just be too much. I wouldn't mind trying to go out there just to enjoy the show. That's a fun show. It's a very small show, but very fun.
Wonderfest is?
Yeah, it's all model kits. It's all based around this garage kit hobby. You know, like monsters, like Frankenstein and movie monsters and creatures, and that's what you'll find there. Or model kits in general. There's a guy there, a friend of mine, does amazing dinosaurs, all dinosaur model kits, and then there's other guys that sell sci-fi kits, robots, and so there's a lot there. It's pretty cool. Vendors selling paint. I don't know, just tons of stuff. Pretty awesome.
My mental factory in the chat's asking, how about Mask Fest?
Yeah, when is that? When is that one? Because I haven't been keeping track. Mask Fest. Yeah, I love that show too. I wouldn't mind going to that too, but when is that one? Is that August? I want to say that's August. Or am I right about that?
I don't know.
Anyone know? I know they just announced it coming back. I want to say August.
August 18th through the 20th, says My Mental Factory.
There you go. Mask Fest. Yeah, Mask Fest is great if you're a mask collector and you just want to see or collect, buy from the very best mask makers out there. That's the show to go to. I've done that show many times. It's a lot of fun. Definitely would like to go back. That's really that's really the show to do if you're doing wearable to mid-range masks, like anything in the $100 to $500 range price tag stuff, but whereas Monsterpalooza is more you could get away with the higher end art as well as a lot of tchotchke art, as well as you can get away with small stuff, large stuff, all kinds of, just everyone there is collecting or buying everything, But Mask Fest is very specific to masks and mask art, which is neat, makes that show stand out and special. The Monsterpalooza has its vibe as well, which makes it special and stand out. It's kind of cool that they're different. And then you got Wonderfest, totally different avenue down. I remember I did Wonderfest one year and I took some masks and people thought I was nuts. They were like, "Why are you bringing latex to a show of model kits? Nobody's gonna want to buy those." And I sold them. I sold them. I was like, "Yep, well, there you go." I mean, I didn't sell tons of them like a Monsterpalooza or a Mask Fest, but funny enough, I took some blank masks and there were actually people that showed up and bought them.
If you build it, they will come.
Right? What are you to tell me I can't sell this rubber mask? No. But no, it's not the place, obviously, for that. So don't go to Wonderfest with monster masks and try to sell a bunch of them.
JP's saying that Robert Englund is apparently supposed to be at Monsterpalooza.
Yeah, he's the second person too to mention that tonight. I was talking to someone else and they said the same thing today. Exactly, same thing. Like as soon as I mentioned Monsterpalooza, they're like, "Oh yeah, Robert Englund's gonna be there." I was like, "Yeah." So that's cool. Where's the bourbon, bitch? Best line. Freddy Krueger. I recently, this past Halloween, watched Nightmare on Elm Street 1. And I remember really liking that one because it was more of a serious boogeyman killer, without all the magic. Look at all the tricks I can do in my dreams. Mm-hmm. And one-liner, how many one-liners can we fit in, before it got to be all that. And it was great, but man, there was some hilarious stuff that did not hold up. It was just like I was like, how did I not laugh at this when I was younger? I guess when you're younger in that time and age, you were taking it more seriously than what it was. But man, looking at it as an adult now, I was like laughing my ass off at some of the parts. Mm-hmm. My wife was cracking up. Some of the stuff in there is hilarious.
I remember doing that with Texas Chainsaw Massacre when I was a kid. I swore to never ever watch it.
Yeah.
And then I eventually did. It scared the bejesus out of me. But then I watched it again as an adult, and I'm like, oh, this movie's kind of silly in some parts.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. It's funny how that works. Anyone see the new Avatar? I'm not.
Water?
I feel like I know it's visually going to be stunning. I know that for sure, but I don't feel like I'm hearing great huge hype about it, or maybe I'm not paying attention enough. But I'm not feeling like I'm seeing raving reviews and hype. Maybe I'm just not seeing that stuff. But I don't know, how is that doing? Is anyone liking it? Not liking it? I haven't seen it yet, obviously.
I haven't seen it either, but I'm hearing pretty much the same stuff. Everybody's like, this looks like incredible, but it's kind of mid. Like, it's whatever.
Yeah, I just wonder if the story maybe is falling short, or there isn't not much of a story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I wonder. I gotta see it. I mean, you know, it's obviously one of those movies you probably have to just see in the movie theater. I think that's the whole experience with that.
Spooky Threads in the chat is asking, how do you feel about, I think it's Creepycon in Ontario, California? Creepycon?
In Ontario, California?
Yeah.
Creepycon. I've never heard of that.
I think it's Ontario, California, or maybe it's Ontario, CA as in Canada.
Oh, is it Canada?
Maybe.
It sounds like something that's in Canada. Because I'm pretty sure I would have heard of it if it was California. Maybe it's Canada. But he could let us. Can you let us know?
Yeah.
Because no, now he's got my curiosity. I wonder. What I'm doing here, by the way, is I'm just like tweaking these ears to make it to match up the backs a bit more than what they were.
Spooky Thread says, definitely California. Creepycon in Ontario, California.
What?
Yeah, I know that convention center too. That's in January. That's when they do an anime convention up there that I always try to go to.
In Ontario?
Yeah.
I lived out by there, like minutes from there.
It might be one that's like brand new.
Creepycon. What the heck?
February 4th and 5th, says Spooky Threads.
I've never heard of that. That's a new one on me. Shit. So wait, he's been.
Mm-hmm.
How is it? Is it good?
Let us know, Spooky Threads.
Not only, well, also, is it good? But who's there? Is there anyone there that like major artists, or is it? I'm curious. That's kind of interesting. I'd like to know more.
Well, Spooky Threads is answering that. Brian McCudden says about Avatar: The Way of Water.
Yeah.
It's visually stunning. It's a very long and fun ride, and definitely watch it in 3D. Says Brian McCudden.
Yeah. Well, Brian, I've been friends with for many, many years, and I remember when the first Avatar I can't talk. Avatar came out. I remember Brian went and saw it, and he was raving about it to me, and then I went and saw it, and it was visually amazing, you know, like, I gotta say. The only thing that kept the first Avatar from being, like, over the top is the story was, I already knew, I mean, I'd known just from working in the effects industry, you know, hearing from people that it was like this kind of Pocahontas story thing, or, so I kind of already knew what to expect, but, so there's not much new there, but it was visually so stunning that it was like, holy cow, you know, this is pretty amazing. And that movie's holding up pretty well.
The first one?
Yeah, like you see some CG. I was just watching some stuff recently that I remember thinking, oh wow, the CG is pretty good, and then I seen it recently and I'm like, oh wow, the CG's actually falls apart. Whoa, why did I think this was that good when I'm seeing it now and going like, whoa, wait a minute. It's weird how when you see something for the first time or few times, your mind says, "Oh, that looks good," and then years later, your mind says, "No, that doesn't look good." What were you thinking, you idiot? Yeah.
So as a follow-up to Creepycon, Spooky Threads says it's something that just started last year. And the first show last year was more celebrities than sculptors, but there were a ton of small vendors.
Were they selling like t-shirts and stuff, or was there like really good artists there selling art? I'm curious.
Good question. Let us know everything you know, Spooky Threads.
Yeah.
Let us know.
We have to stop Casey from asking more questions. No.
Eric Fox was at Creepycon this year, says Sean Meyer.
I said good artists.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. Woo! Eric Fox. Isn't he the like super pot smoking effects guy? Isn't he the new Steve Johnson? That's kind of how I think of Eric. I hope I got the right guy here. I think it's Eric Fox. He's got like the eyeliner, the heavy eyeliner, rock star guy from Face Off. I don't know him. Sorry. I think he's one of the Face Off contestants or something like that.
So funny. Speaking of Face Off, I always remember, I think it was like Comic-Con 2011 or 2012 or something. And I was in an elevator heading up to one of the roof parties. I think it was for like Entertainment Weekly or something. And in the elevator walked, I think, two of the contestants from Face Off. And I recognized them because I had just finished watching it with my then girlfriend at the time. And I like saw them and I'm like, oh my God, you guys, like, great job on the show. Oh, I loved your work. Blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, oh, thanks. We didn't know anybody would recognize it.
Well, a lot of the Face-Off guys have gone on. Well, not a lot, but a few that I can think of have gone on to have really good careers and do really well.
Excellent.
Which one of them was one of the ones that stands out in my mind is Anthony Cozart. Anthony really took his 15 minutes of fame, if you will, and did something with it, which oftentimes they don't. The only thing I know about the other guy mentioned that was just mentioned, I'm trying to bag on him or nothing, I just always seen the guy smoking. Like his favorite thing was like every time I'd see a video on Instagram or something from that guy would just be smoking weed at 4 o'clock, and seemed to be all he cared about. So it's kind of like, okay, dude, kind of, and he's very much into the camera. I'm not into that kind of effects artist. But whatever, to each their own.
Cody Hatfield says, crazy hair, eyeliner all day.
Mm-hmm.
Yup, that's him.
Yeah, looks like a drag queen mess or something, some kind of mess. Rockstar mess. That's what I figured. I don't know. It's weird how I guess it's weird how effects artists have also sort of, in a way, there is this side where there's this want to be a rock star type side to it all, I guess. I'm not sure that was all very helpful to the effects industry in any way. That side of, I would kind of say that side of Face Off and all that show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Just also that it was cool. What was cool about Face Off was that it definitely brought a highlight to the effects industry. But what wasn't cool about it was they turned the show very quickly into one of those drama events with a bunch of kids arguing and fighting and all this stuff, to sell the show, right? To get the ratings and all that. And I think what sucked about that is it misrepresented how the effects industry truly is, because we're not a bunch of babies in a shop fighting with each other. I don't think. No. Actually, that has happened. It does happen. People don't get along. Sometimes things happen. But my point is, what was great about it is it definitely brought the limelight to the special effects world. So that was a positive. But the negative was the behaviors and some of the stuff going on the show was not how an effect shop operates or conducts itself. When I've worked at every shop I've worked at, it's been business as usual. Get the work done, do your best work, show up on time, but it wasn't like a giant drama fest. So that part that they were using as a TV show to do the typical TV ratings stuff, I found to be obnoxious, and I couldn't watch the show because of that. It ruined it for me. I was like, I'm not into this. So, but definitely brought the attention to the industry. I remember I was working at Rick Baker's when that show first aired, the Face Off show. Mm-hmm. The very first season, I was working at Rick's on Men in Black 3. So that was 2011, 10 or 11, yeah. Somewhere in there.
2011. That makes sense. Yeah, because I was definitely dating my then ex-girlfriend at the time, or my then girlfriend at that time.
Yeah.
I definitely remember that. I remember one of the guys did like this frozen, almost like a frozen Frankenstein kind of thing. It was like one of the finalists who did it, and like one of the things that they knocked him for was like the stuff on the neck when he applied it, like the prosthetics to somebody's face. The stuff on the neck started kind of peeling up.
Yeah.
But they're like, other than that, this is like flawless. Like this is superb.
Yeah. 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 One of the judges was Glenn Hetrick, and then they would have guest judges on. V. Neal was a guest, or a judge, not guest judge.
That's
judge.
Actually how I first found out about her. V. Neal was from that, and then I think my friend Amanda, she started going to cinema makeup school after that, and I'm like, "You're going to the school that V. Neal teaches at? Oh, face off!" Oh. She's like, "Yep, makeup artist."
I think V. Neal now has her own school, which is cool. She's like, I think she's got her own thing. So that's cool. I taught at some of those schools. I taught at cinema. I taught at MUD, and as a guest teacher in the past. That was fun to do. Fun to, when things were slow in the industry, sometimes you could teach at a school or whatever. I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say something about...
Let's backtrack. Avatar: Way of Water, Fox, Creepycon,
no,
Robert England. We're covering all the bases tonight.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of what there was a thought, and now I've lost it. It's like in between.
Something about reality TV?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
So, Face Off approached me a couple times. The producer, I think it was the producer, a young guy. Anyway, he approached me at Monsterpalooza a couple times, begging me to do the show, or asking me. I don't want to say begging, but asking me. I mean, he asked me at several shows, not just one. He asked me a couple times though to be on the show as far as like a contestant, and I was like, I always thought that was so weird. I was like, no, why would I be a contestant on your show? Like,
I'm established. I'm not a student.
Yeah, I was already established, and not only that, it was like it felt very unfair. Like I felt like I would be shady or it'd just be weird. Like, why would I be up against kids that are
right, like,
not have the experience level I have? That's not fair. And actually, that is what happened on the first show, because the guy that won was an experienced effects artist, or was an experienced effects artist, and he won. And those other kids didn't stand a chance, honestly. So it's not. It wasn't really fair. I remember telling him though. I said, "Why don't you guys do a show like Biker Build Off, where you get like teams of really solid effects artists to go against each other?" Now you've got something. Now you've got something even more amazing, because if you got, imagine a team of, you know, Carlos Wante, Jordu Shell, and Norman Cabrera, or Norman Cabrera, Steve Wang, and Carlos Wante, or pick any one, you know? And then your judges are like Rick Baker, these guys. And then you have another team of equally talented guys, right? And their job is to design the most interesting, badass creature possible, you know? And it's filmed over weeks of time, and the end result is this amazing TV show, you know, where you've got one effects team going against another effects team. And the job is to, like, you could just pick a genre. Okay, change-o heads, werewolf, or change-o head, whatever creature, doesn't matter. Go. You guys design, and you see it all come to life. You have a top mechanic, a top sculptor, a top, you know what I'm saying? Like painter, top designer. Bam. That would be an insane show that would blow people's minds. Or creature suit, go, you know, or you know, puppet. You know, you're going to do a puppet with all cables. You cannot use any animatronics. All cable operated puppet. Go. You know, these two teams. It would be insane. Yeah. That show would be absolutely badass. It'd blow Face Off out of the water.
I think too, to kind of like, I'm thinking more and more about it. It's like you can kind of introduce like the randomization element, where it's like it's not really set teams, but it's like at the start of every episode, everybody picks a number out of the hat or something like that, and it's like whatever number you get or whatever straw you draw, that's the team you're on for that episode. So it's like you have 6 people that are going through a season or like a series of like 6 episodes. Yeah. And the teams switch up every episode, and then even who does what switches up every episode. It's like, so to kind of keep people on their toes and to like really kind of add like a challenge element to it at some points, because it's like you get somebody who normally doesn't do certain aspects, like their challenges, they now have to really perform in that arena, and that's the drama inherent in that one episode. It's like, oh crap, like, you know, I don't do like, you know, I normally do like, you know, monstery stuff, but they're having me do like this like beautiful femme fatale woman kind of thing, and it's like, how do you like make that kind of something like that?
Yeah, I mean,
in the weeds with it now.
No, totally. I can see exactly what you're saying. Because it, you know, like, it reminds me of these shows like shit. What was the one with the bike builders, like Jesse James?
Oh, Chopper something.
Not American. Well, there was American Chopper, right?
American Chopper. That's the one that first came to my head.
Yeah, that was the dad and the son.
Yeah.
But then there was these biker build off ones where it was like these underground bike builders sort of guys, like Jesse James, and I forget the other guys that were on there. But like, I remember when I saw those, I was like, man, if this was an effects makeup or effects show with effects artists design, you know, like a show laid out exactly like this, that would be so cool, man. Like, who wouldn't watch that? Imagine, like, I can't even imagine, like, I just keep thinking about that, like, because in the 80s, one of the most amazing effects was the change-o head that both Rick and Rob Bottin had done. Like, and then you saw more sort of stylistic versions of those things, like by Rob Bottin with Total Recall, you know, Arnold's face and his eyes, you know, things like that, right? Can you imagine now today with all the technical materials and art and everything we have now, like, what would you do with it today? You know, and since we're not going to get obviously get a practical film out with a werewolf changing transformation, which I would love to see Rick Baker do. Like, I'd love to see someone just give Rick, hey, you do whatever you want. Here you go. Just make it badass. Outdo American Werewolf in London. You know, that would be insane to see. You know, I thought it was going to be the Wolfman.
Oh yeah, take that build. And what would you do if you were to tackle it today?
Yeah. And then, but so instead of that though, since that's never going to probably happen, which is a shame, I think, because I would love, if there's like one thing I'd love to see Rick redo and try again, it's that. American Werewolf was the most amazing transformation change-o thing so far, you know, along with Rob's Howling. But the thing is like, imagine what guys would do today with it, you know, like, and seeing top artists from the field do that, you know, like, I mean, it's got to be artists that are the highest caliber, you know. Get your Joey Orozco's, Norman Cabrera's, Steve Wang's, you know, those types. It'd be insane, man, you know.
Showcasing what the top end looks like.
Yeah, just, you know, like, and having fun, you know, designing some really cool effect that could have been in a movie but never probably will be, and you know, you use some of these old time effects to showcase what can be done. That would serve two purposes. One, it would help with obviously showing, I mean, because imagine all the people that are going to see this, directors, producers, all this stuff, right? Because we've run into it before where, like, we ran into on The Thing prequel, CG guy comes in, we do these amazing practical effects. We're going to fix all your amazing practical effects because they all look outdated. Okay, that's your opinion, dude. It's not fact. It's your opinion. But guess what? Everyone rewatches The Thing because they love what? The story's great. The effects were great. Rob Bottin set a precedence. They're timeless, yeah. So now you're going to bag on our effects and then tell us you're going to fix them with your CG. And then you go and turn out a result of not fixing them, making everything worse, right? And then what was the result? People were like, what the hell is this? What are we looking at? And why didn't they use all this amazing practical effects that were done? Case in point, like, we could, not that it's a big argument over CG versus practical. I think the marriage of the two is still the way, but it'd be cool to have some kind of show like what Face Off did for the makeup field, for the effects field. You know, I'm talking suits, creatures, puppets, things like that, you know, beyond just the makeup.
I was going to say, I think the effect of that new Thing movie was, I think more people have watched it behind the scenes showing the original, like, practical effects props than they have the actual movie. Yeah, because they just full blatantly cut stuff out and creatures that we did, and I don't know. What can you do, you know? It's not in our hands after that. But I remember us really putting our best efforts forward on that film. I was pretty much heavily involved in all the designs and stuff like that. With Paul Komodo was there with us, and Mike Broom, and Jordu was there. We were really trying to nail it. There was one maquette that Jordu did, and when I first walked in, it was the first maquette I really saw as a concept idea, and I literally told Alec and Tommy, that's it. There it is. That's it. He nailed it. That's what we should see in this movie right there. You know, of course it was like, well, the director wants to see this, that, and the other, and blah 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 blah. I was like, why? That is it. If I was a director, I walked in and saw that maquette, I'd be like, that's it. Go after all of that right there. Because he nailed it right out of the gate. It just had the right vibe and creepy. It was this weird, crabby human body torso stuck on like this weird crab thing with a tentacle. Is just genius. All in Sculpey. It was really cool. You nailed it. It wasn't a full size maquette.
It was like a full maquette, like this.
Oh, wow.
Like and he even put like real hair on the head. It was a Sculpey, all translucent Sculpey, and a tail thing, and a human crab, like a human torso turns into like a weird crab body that was like walking away. It was like a whole torso would be walking away. So instead of like a head like Norris, it was like this whole torso walking away, and this cool vibe to it, and it just, yeah, it really sold it when you saw that maquette, you're like, is that from the thing? You know, you'd be like, is that from the thing? That looks thing like, you know. That was, and I was like, wow, you nailed it right out of the gate. That's it. Like, why are we not just making that right there? But you know it is. This director had ideas, and people have ideas, and they always want to see more.
People need to stop having ideas.
Yeah,
that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Well, dude, there was a time, you know, this is obviously before I worked in the effects business, but there was a time where the effects artist was this like respected secret kind of magician, you know, and they wouldn't bother you. They didn't understand how the effects were done, you know, like, and how you did it all, and effects artists had that power or control or whatever you want to call it to kind of do they were just highly respected that way, right? Like, it was just more like, wow, well, you know, do your thing, here you go, here's what we're making, or here's what we're doing, a movie of creatures and gargoyles or whatever. So it's that, and then that, you know, started to go away at some point. And, you know, also effects artists back in the day did everything, you know, like they weren't specific to one thing, like sculpting or mold making or this. Like, I know guys like Steve Wang and stuff, you know, they would do all of it. You know, they would take a creature all the way to completion from start to finish back in the day. Not just sculpt, not just paint. They would do it all. So that also changed because there's now so many specialty, you know, seamers, mold makers, people casting, sculptors, painters. You know, now it's all singled out into specialties. And then some people have they're utilized in multiple areas, you know. Like, I would go from sculpting to paint, or, you know, so and other guys would go from like casting to seaming. So hair people, you know, people that do hair punching or a specialty, and then they would do hair tying, hair punching, wigs, all that stuff, eyebrows. So, yeah. Or as Obi-Wan would say, their speciality.
Oh, it's the Sith Lords. Oh,
yeah. Nerds. That was my nerd side right there. That I even remember that.
I love it. He says that, and he proceeds to get like smacked up the head by Dooku. Like, come on, man. Can you look any more lame?
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Speaking of Revenge of the Sith, I actually just saw a thing recently that was going over some of the, speaking of like practical effects and stuff that was eventually cut out, there was a whole thing planned for Sidious, when the 4 Jedi Masters walk into his office, and they're like, you're under arrest. He was apparently supposed to have a much bigger like fight scene. Like, they had this whole thing choreographed for him. Yeah. And then I guess what this channel on YouTube was saying is apparently what happened is George Lucas walked in and was like, oh, I mean, like, I want to do a lot of close-up shots, and we can't like do a lot of close-up shots if we keep using Ian McDermott's stunt double. So he's like, just try to teach Ian McDermott some of the choreography and let's shoot it. So it's like the choreographer had like literally 15 minutes to try to teach a 60-year-old man how to do like spins and flips and stuff, and eventually they're just like, let's just do a bunch of punch-in close-ups and just cut to and fro. So it's like, if that scene feels like herky-jerky, it's because of that. It's all close-up shots, and they're hiding a lot of like just his lack of mobility, which to his credit, he's a 60-year-old man. He can't move that much, but
Yeah.
Like, all that aside, some of the test footage that they have of some of the choreography they wanted to do with him is insane. It is some of the best like prequel like Star Wars lightsaber choreography.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a shame that like stuff like that doesn't make it in, you know, when it's so good.
It's good enough that like you can see how different Sidious, like what Sidious's fighting style with the lightsaber was compared to everyone he's going against. Like he's so like he's like a bull charging people. He's just constantly in their face and just coming at them and just like doing all this stuff. It's just like, holy crap! No wonder Grievous, Dooku, and Maul were as good as they were. This guy was training them. Like,
yeah.
Oh.
Damn. It reminds me of like the thing prequel thing that we did, and that there was a whole scene around a character that I had done and sculpted the head and all that, and we had Paul Komodo do the body, and there was supposed to be this really elaborate scene that took place with him, and how and he's the first one that's infected, and how that happens on this helicopter. There's all this stuff planned out that, man, when you saw it, you know, I literally saw the storyboard of this, and I was like so jazzed. I was like, this is gonna blow away. Like, people are gonna love this, man. This is so fits right in. This is perfect. And then they just hacked that whole thing to crap because of budget and didn't do it. And then they, even worse, they ruined the puppet with really, really bad CG work. They ruined the puppet thing that we built that went on Tom Woodruff, who played the part, you know, acted that part out. Man, it was such a drag to see that go down the shithole like that, you know, because, man, if they had done what they had set out to do, fans would have, and then take away the bad CG stuff, fans would have been enthralled with it. It would have been such a different story and vibe about that movie now, if they had just done the right thing. But here we are. Oh well. You're just gonna get a Rubik's Cube at the end of the movie. Blurry Rubik's Cube. We don't want that cool alien creature you guys sculpted at all. Just gonna put this Rubik's Cube blurry thing in place of that cool alien you guys made. Part of the problem becomes some of these directors, these newer directors and such, they're not like a Guillermo del Toro. You know, they don't know how to shoot the creatures. They don't know how to shoot puppets. They don't know how to shoot the creatures. They don't know how to work with it. And then they get like, you know, they're running out of time and budget, right? And studio exec, so they just abandon it. That's what happens a lot of times with the creature stuff. They just abandon ship in a way and just, well, we're just gonna do this, you know, don't know how to shoot that thing. So it's a shame, man. Whereas like you get someone like Guillermo del Toro, or someone who's like, okay, he can look at it and visualize it and know how he's going to shoot it and light it and what's going to work best and what's not going to work, and that's really what you need in those situations, is a director that knows how to shoot and work with guys in suits and puppets and stuff like that.
Brian McCruden's asking in the chat, wasn't there a petition to show the original practical effects? That sounds familiar.
I don't know. Was there? I have no idea. Maybe. Could be right. I know a lot of people were really... Once ADI put out the footage of all the puppet stuff we did, all the creatures, I know that changed, because we got a lot of flack for it. I remember... I'll never forget, when we got the show, somehow this fan found out about it, that we got the show. I think it was that show. I want to say it was that one. It might have been a different one. I think so. I could be wrong. I could be mixing them up here. I mean, I worked on a lot of shows over there. It was either that one or it was AVP, one of the AVPs. I can't remember, but I think it was the thing. he sent a letter to them, to ADI, and it said something like, I can't remember exactly, but it was something along the lines of like, you know, like congratulating them on getting the show and whatnot, but whatever you do, don't mess it up. Like don't screw up with the effects, you know. Like, you better not mess it up. It's like something along those lines, and it was hilarious. We hung it up in the cafeteria just so we could laugh at it. But we put our best efforts forward on that show for sure. Tried to do the right stuff, and we had a great team of people. Mikey Ritello was with us, sculpting. Tim Martin, another really great sculptor, was with us. It was a good time. So Mio was with us too, Steve Wang's wife. She was amazing. She was still very new to the industry, but just super talented. Super talented. I'm just cleaning up edges and defining the bust shape and stuff. I'm not sure what I'll do with a base or not on this, but he's slowly coming together. And I'm sorry, I'm not talking much about these tools. I should be. I got carried away with effects talk and stuff like that.
No, people are enjoying it.
All right, hopefully.
People are really enjoying it.
And no disrespect to Face Off people and friends and other effects artists. I'm not trying to be a dick. Love to all you guys. You know, just
came up with a name for that. What is it? Monster game show you were talking
Oh,
about.
really? Actually, I was thinking about that. What would be a good name?
I was thinking Monsters Making Monsters.
That's cool. Because we all are monsters inside.
Yeah, monsters on the inside. There you go.
Yeah. Monsters making monsters. That's kind of cool, man. That's catchy. That would work. Let's get this show off the road, man. Or on the road, or however you say that. Let's get the show on the road. Right? I think this is a golden idea. Quick, get some execs on the phone. Netflix, where are you at?
CBS. Oh no, that's television. You're dying. Never mind.
No, let's get like I'd like how about Netflix or something, you know?
Netflix might bite.
Maybe, right? I should pitch it to them.
2018 would bite, or 2018 Netflix would bite.
Yeah. Aren't they the ones that have Forged in Iron, the knife show?
I think so.
Right? The Forged, is that right? Forged in Iron or something like that, or Forged?
I'm not sure. I don't follow a lot of.
They have a knife. I always love it. Like at the end, they have a silicone dummy. And this guy that has to test the weapon, and
I do know that. Yeah.
This would kill.
Yeah.
No shit. It's like anything that's sharp, long, and stronger than the human body
is
gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Like I love that he has to put that. This would kill. Like, yeah, no kidding.
Forged in fire, says my.
Forged in fire. I said
and
iron.
Yeah.
I was like iron. Forged in iron. Forged in Fire. Yeah. That's a great name.
I thought you were talking about that one YouTube channel that used to do forging, like old school blacksmithing work. And they would make like video game character weapons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I remember that
one. Yeah. I think I might have saw that show. Wasn't that very similar to Forged in Fire?
Man at Arms. I think that's what it was called.
Oh, okay.
It's a YouTube channel thing.
Yeah. That's cool. How about anybody playing the new God of War? That looks like a sick game.
I actually just finished that on Friday last week.
You finished it?
Yeah, I finished it.
Damn, I haven't even finished the first one, man. Or not the first one, but the last one. My son and I are stuck somewhere. I forget where we're at. Dang, you finished it.
Yep.
Woo.
Good game.
Yeah.
Good game. Like the 2018 game that came out, that was my. I feel like I have not played a game that has hit as hard as that since I played that. And I've played like Red Dead Redemption 2, Persona 5, like a lot of really like winning games. And
Yeah.
God of War was still like number 1, and then I play Ragnarok, and it's like that beat the hell out of it. It's so good.
Yeah. So this one is much better than even the last one, you would say?
I would say it's just as good.
Just as good. Okay. Because
like,
that last one was pretty amazing.
Yeah. There's stuff I wanted to see more of. Like I wanted to see them do more stuff with Jormungandr, the giant snake, the world serpent.
Yeah.
He could have been in the game more, but it's cool like how everything changes from one game to the next, because the whole crux of it is Fimbulwinter, the forever winter. Like you're basically 2 years into it, so everything is a frozen tundra on Midgard. And then every other realm has its own version of Fimbulwinter.
Yeah.
So, and it's not like winter. It's not always like frost related. So it's cool kind of seeing how all that stuff goes around. But yeah. Just Thor. There's really no spoiling the fact like Thor is in the game.
Oh yeah, I saw him come out with his hammer, like hucking it at him or whatever.
They do stuff with Thor that is intense. He is so good.
He's all badass.
There's a lot about that. Like I don't want to say any more than that because I don't want to spoil you on it. I don't want to spoil anybody else in the chat either. If you haven't played the first God of War yet, it's like $10 right now. Like, do yourself the favor.
You mean the last one, right?
Yeah, the one that came out in 2018.
Yeah, that's amazing. That game.
Incredible.
Dude, that one part though was so freaking hard. There was one section that was a pain in the ass to beat the monster. It was 2 monsters. You had to beat 2 of them. You had to you're up on top of that thing. You had to keep running in a circle and hitting them and blocking them and dodging them.
Is this one of the trials in Muspelheim that you're doing?
Yeah, it's like a trial thing. Yeah. That was a pain in the ass. God, I just remember being like, dude, I'm never going to beat these 2 idiots.
Mm-hmm.
Like...
Oh, is it the 2 trolls?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think the trick I always did with that was I would get one of them stunned to the point where you could hit R3 and jump on top of him, and then you just use him to beat the crap out of the other one.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
Shit. Tricks of the trade. Yeah. No, the game rocks though.
Yeah, John Eubank is saying, what is it? The Warhammer 40K series is coming to Prime, that they've heard. And I think another thing that's coming to Prime is a God of War show.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, they just bought the rights for it.
Wow. Damn.
Brian McCruden says that they're playing Callistico Protocol, and that it's pretty gnarly. I've heard about that game. I've not played it yet. Callisto Protocol.
I'm not familiar with it either, but I think I remember just recently seeing the artwork on PlayStation Store for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw that. That just recently came out, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? It did, because it looks like... I remember seeing the cover art for it, and I'm like, is that Modern Warfare 2? And it's like, oh no, that's a completely different game. It just looks a lot like it. Like, it uses the same, like, color palette, almost. And the armor on the guy kind of looks a little like it.
Yeah, I remember it caught my attention, because I was like, wait, what is this? Yeah, it looked good. Alright, so I'm just adding these little ear nub things. You can see here I'm just using the ball stylus tool to basically just shape each little spike, give each one as much attitude as possible. This ear's too big, but I'll have to fix that. Damn it. Got a big ear on one side, boy. Also, I shouldn't be doing all this yet because I gotta fix. Just notice I gotta really fix this ear, because this ear is doing something totally different. What were the original ears doing? Oh yeah. I gotta add some of that goodness. All right.
Some folks in the chat right now are talking about some of the stuff that they're working on.
Oh yeah.
JP's saying that. JP's saying good luck making molds.
Oh, in general or this guy?
No, JP's I think just saying like good luck to somebody else. But Matt McNeil is apparently sculpting something. He's sculpting. Jerry Dandridge.
Yeah, he's still working on the Jerry, huh? How's that going, Matt? How's that going?
Oh, he says he just finished it.
Oh God, nice. He's got to mold it. He's got to mold it with that lovely, lovely stuff called hydrocal. Let me know if you need me to come over and help you, dude, with that hydrocal mold. If you need an extra hand, it's always easier to have extra people. I'm really good at slapping hydrocal over the walls in the room.
Is hydrocal what you were using on the pumpkin head base over here?
No.
I remember that was carried over back here for a little while.
That was silicone, white silicone, but hydrocal is like a white, chalky looking plaster.
Oh, it's the chalky one. Okay.
Yeah, it's it's not chalky necessarily. It's a white plaster. I know I have some blocks of it poured under those silicone molds up top. On that pink silicone mold, see those blocks of white silicone?
Oh,
They're sitting on blocks of hydrocal. Yeah. Anyway, it's a very popular mask making stone for masks and stuff.
Matt McNeil says, "Come on over."
There you go.
He says, "Sounds good to me. Come help."
Let me know. It has to be on a weekend, but let me know, like, when you're, like, seriously too. I'm not joking. Like, let me know when you're in need, and like on a week, if it's a weekend, I can swing over and.
Not this weekend. You're not busy this weekend, are you?
I owe you a visit anyway, huh?
You're not busy this weekend, are you?
Is he asking me?
No, you.
Oh.
Me asking you.
Oh.
My bad attempt at a joke.
Oh, because it's Christmas. Oh my God, I'm like, what is he talking about? Is he setting me up or something? Yeah. You were. No, this weekend's not busy at all. There's nothing going on that's important. No, seriously, Matt, let me know when you're gonna do that thing, and I'll come help you.
Over Christmas break for sure. I'll work around your schedule, says Matt.
All right. All right, I'll hit you up, buddy. So now I'm just adding to this ear some forms and whatnot. Trying to look at the original one too, a little bit, not copy it, but kind of get some of the vibe of what was there.
Matt Gomez is wondering, what's the scale of this
Oh, good. Yeah, good question. If I had to guess offhand, I would say this is like, this is a quarter scale-ish size. Quarter to third?
Yeah.
Third?
No, I'd say more quarter.
More quarter than third.
It's
yeah.
monstery, so it's like the features are bigger.
I don't know if it helps to like do this near it or anything, but I mean, yeah. And I probably will release this in as, unpainted resin or something. I gotta send one of these to Jeff at Death Studios, just as a little gift. He'll probably tell me, "Oh, why didn't you just do this as a mask? We could have put it out." I'm like, damn it. I know that's what he's gonna tell me. I already know. I'm like, oh man, I wish you would have done that as a mask. Maybe I'll have to. I don't know if he likes it. We'll see.
Scan it and put it in ZBrush and blow it up.
Yeah. There you go. Technology.
Brian McCruden says, Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas, Brian.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah. And all you guys, man, have a great, hope you guys all have a great Christmas, great holiday with family, friends, or whoever you're with. Be safe too. Don't drink and drive or do anything weird and crazy.
Stay warm if you're on the Midwest or the East Coast.
Oh my God!
I heard you guys are gonna get slammed with a nice storm.
Yeah, stay warm for sure. Holy shit, they're gonna get nailed.
Mm-hmm. If it's anything like what was hitting us, I think a week and a half ago or so, they're in for it.
Yeah, but way worse for them because man, that weather out there is a lot colder than ours. California though has been strangely very cold lately. Like I don't remember California getting this cold in winter. Do you?
No.
Maybe on a rare occasion.
It's worse because the heater in our house, like the furnace, is broken.
Oh.
So we really feel it at night.
Oh my God. I turn the heater off though because it freaks me out having it on. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't like having it on, like, and stuff. I don't know.
Oh, overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't like that.
It's when you put the insulation in your house to the test.
Insulation, yeah.
Yeah, you just run it for an hour before you sleep.
Yeah.
Edward Kennefic is asking in the chat, how do you like monster clay compared to Chavant?
Well, I'm not really a good person to ask that question. Funny enough, because I am not the biggest fan of Chavant clay. I know that might sound a little strange, although I did use it on the thing for the sculptures. I mean, Chavant's a great clay. It's widely used. I just struggle in it. You know, I can't sculpt in it as nicely and easily as other clays. But then again, I struggle with a lot of harder clays. Like even monster clay, I have more struggles. What I like about monster clay and Chavant is the speed. You know, especially monster clay is even faster to me than Chavant, because Chavant you have to really warm it up and get it workable and then do your thing. But monster clay gets so heat sensitive it's easy to get it working, and you can even grab chunks and get it working in your fingers, whereas Chavant is a little harder to do that. But I struggle with Chavant to get I really struggle to get wrinkles and soft folded forms the way I want them to be, whereas like wedclay and super Sculpey, no problem. Super Sculpey is my favorite for organic textures like wrinkles and things. It just happens so naturally because of the bubblegum consistency of the clay. But I know a lot of people hate that clay because it's so soft. But once you get used to it, it's fine. The thing is, wed clay too, I can get refined wrinkles fast in that clay, whereas like these oil-based clays, Chavant and even monster clay, I have to really spend a great deal of time working the forms over and over, and I don't know, that kind of it's a slow process, so it kind of I lose a little bit of patience, and then it drives me a little nuts. So, but Chavant is the worst for me because I just can't. But I mean, don't take my word because, there's so many sculptors out there that love it. But I'm not the only one. I have heard other sculptors tell me they don't like Siobhan either, even though they work very well in it. Like I've seen amazing sculptors work magic in it, but they've told me like, I don't really like the clay. You know, I wish it was more creamier. Or I think that's the thing is like at the end of the day, I think everybody wishes the effects guys, not anybody else, but mostly the effects guys wish it was more like Roma Plastilina, which is why. You know, kind of, I think why they developed Monumelt, but the problem with Monumelt is it's got other weird characteristics that are tricky to get around. The medium one, you have to use the hard with Monumelt, as from what I understand, to really get detail good and everything you want in there. But yeah, I'm not the best to listen to with Siobhan, because Siobhan's not one of my favorites. It's a great clay, though. I can't... And I say that because it's widely... I say it's a great clay. I don't want to contradict myself here, which I just did. But it is a great clay because it's widely used by a lot of amazing sculptors, and I see a lot of amazing work. So I know that it is... I've had to work in it. It's a good clay. So I don't want to bash on it or anything. But I just... For me, it's not my favorite medium.
It's not your first pick.
No.
Yeah.
My first choice, I've told people this before and they think I'm nuts. My first choice, if I could sculpt in Super Sculpey as fast as I could sculpt in wedclay, I would always be Super Sculpey. Like I would literally like to sculpt masks in Super Sculpey if I could. It's just too slow. The clay is too slow to work in. You know, you have to knead it up, whereas like with wet, I can grab hunks of it, slap it on, and within an hour I have a design. On Super Sculpey, I'd have to have, you know, a foam understructure because I wouldn't be able to bulk it all out in Super Sculpey. It'd be ridiculous and expensive as hell. And then, you know, I do it. I mean, there is an artist that does do this, and his name is Thomas Kubler. He's amazing. He does everything in Super Sculpey. It's his preferred medium. And I know why. I get it. Because once you get that clay down and how to work with it, the results are amazing. You can do everything in that clay you can do in any other clay. Believe it or not. Even though it's bouncy in a way, you can get really fine detail, super fine detail. People just don't realize how. I should probably go over how to do some of that in one of these videos. But I love Monster Clay as a substitute for Siobhan, for me. You know, Monster Clay I love. Its downside is its melting point, right? Because if it's summer, this can get kind of soft. If you're trying to mold ears like this, these ears will move on you. You know, if you're laying this sculpture down and claying it up or something, you could easily bend or move an ear. So it's like it would have been smarter for me to do just these ears in the hard version of the clay or whatever, you know, instead of the medium like I have here. But I'll get it. I'll pull it off. It's there's a way to, you know, you can still do it. You just gotta be careful. So yeah, I would say as far as the oil-based style clays, the non-bakeable clays and stuff, I prefer Monster Clay. But yeah, Siobhan is, you know, I try it out. That's the best thing. Try it out and see if you like it and if it works for you.
Matt Gomez is actually I don't mean to keep us on the Siobhan train, but Matt Gomez is saying that Siobhan has an alien clay, and it's gray, and it comes in a container, and it has a lid, and it's basically Monster Clay, according to Matt Gomez.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Maybe that's their answer to Monster Clay? Is that what that is?
Could be.
It's called Alien Clay?
Yeah.
Siobhan
Alien something or other. I
Never
wonder if my
heard of
microphone
it.
sounds any better now.
Huh?
I just turned the microphone towards my face, and I'm wondering if it sounds any better.
Oh.
I've had it like pointed down because I'm like, is this one that I speak into the top to? But now that I'm listening to myself in playback, and I'm like, no, I've been speaking into it wrong for a long time. I feel foolish.
By the way, we could take, before we get off the air here on this whole show, we can we should do some questions.
Sure.
If anyone has questions,
let us know.
We've kind of gotten off track on the show a bit, but if you have any questions, hit me up right now and I'll answer them. If you have any, if not, that's all good too.
We actually have what is it? Not a question aimed at you, but it's actually something related to that. It's Bill Garish is wondering if anyone is doing their Christmas tree horror ornaments, if that makes sense.
Christmas tree horror ornaments?
Yeah.
If anyone's doing them?
Yeah, and I was reminded because you got the Santas right there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've got 3 Santa heads sitting here if anyone wants to buy a horror ornament. Mm-hmm. Not an ornament, but a decoration.
Ornament? No, not that one.
So he's asking if anyone's making anything? Or,
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. Is anyone making holiday horror stuff or
horror ornaments? Let me see if I can backtrack and find us some questions. Oh, Creative Critter actually asked a question earlier about the loop tool that you were using. He was wondering, or they were wondering, if the loop tool with the teeth, did you use a Dremel to grind down the saw teeth or an actual file?
It's probably safer and to do a file for a couple reasons. One, you won't overly grind them down on accident like you would with a Dremel, and it won't throw any debris into your eyeball like a Dremel will. So if you're going to do it with a Dremel, use safety goggles to protect your eyes. But I did it with a Dremel very carefully, a grinder Dremel bit, and just grind the teeth down. But it is safer to just do it with a file and like some sandpaper. And basically what you want is you want the teeth to still be, I don't know if you can see this, you want the teeth to still be there, but just get rid of the point so that it's just this soft. So like when you drag it across your skin, it shouldn't cut into your skin, but you should be able to feel the teeth but not cut into your skin. So it's like you're just grinding down the points, you know. So you can do it with a Dremel, but it's probably best to do it with a file. That's a good question. Let's see if I can get this ear correct here. Doo-doo. Yeah, Christmas is coming, man. Dang.
And then we have a question here from Stephen Cartagena. They say, I want to try sculpting, and I'm wondering on your opinion on Scully Firm, and if it's suitable for beginners.
Scully Firm?
Yeah.
What is Scully Firm? Because you stumped me with whatever that is. I've never heard of it. What is that?
I don't know. Stephen Cartagena, let us know.
Yeah, let us know what Scully Firm is.
Sean Kaysen says, I use Cosclay. Cosclay is one that you've talked
about
before.
Yeah. Well, Cosclay is Monster Clay, or sorry, not Monster Clay. Cosclay is Monster Maker's version of a polymer-based clay, like Super Sculpey, that is extremely bendable after it's baked. So it makes it very strong and rigid. You could just drop it on the floor and it'll bounce. That's how durable it is. So it's a neat clay. It's really not anything that hasn't been done before. The truth is, like, it's just a better version, because like the truth is Polyform at one point did make a clay just like it. Well, not just like it, but similar to it, that was stretched, like not stretchable, but bendable after it was baked. I forget what it was called, but Monster Clay's version, or not Monster Clay, Monster Maker's version, or their clay, is so much better than what that one was by Polyform, and to sculpt in, it's just a lot better. So it's a very nice clay to work with if people want something that they can bake in their oven and have like a one-off, like a durable one-off that will hold up, because Super Sculpey as one-offs isn't the greatest. It's fragile. It can be fragile.
We got some clarification from Steven Cartagena too. Sculpey firm. Sorry, autocorrect got me.
Oh, Sculpey firm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sculpey firm.
I was trying to think too. I'm like, Scully firm. Where's that from?
Oh yeah. I was thinking it's like some new clay, you know, like some new.
It sounds like a clay. Like
Sculpey firm, yeah. So it's what it is it's a gray Super Sculpey that comes in soft, medium, and firm. The firm is, to me, is too much though. Like it's too hard. That clay dries out, has a very bad problem of drying out before you use it all, in my opinion. So I don't like it too much. I would say go with the medium. The medium might be a perfect version if the soft is too soft for you. And funny enough, I'm a big fan of the pink beige Super Sculpey. I don't mind the translucency. I like it. I know that's weird, but I like it. But the gray is great too. I mean, if you don't want the translucency. Usually when I don't want the translucency though, I just mix my own clay color that I like to work in. But yeah, the firm is a little too much, I think. I've had it before, and then I didn't get around to using the clay, and then the clay just like dried up beyond usable. So I didn't like that. And again, it slowed me down. It was too slow to work in, because, you know, when you got to get Super Sculpey, you have to knead it in your fingers. You have to like knead it, and you can't even barely knead that firm stuff. Like, it's just too much, man. Gotta have fingers like Thor. Yeah, so I don't use it too much. I don't use it at all, really. I use the medium. I'll use from time to time, the gray medium, but I really like just the regular old Super Sculpey. It's amazing too, like what has been sculpted in that clay. If you look at the garage kit market, like what is still being sculpted in Super Sculpey and what has been in the past, like the amazing art that's come out of that clay is insane. It's some magical, amazing sculptures that have come from Super Sculpey. It's just, you got to get used to its how to work with it. So if you work with it enough and get over the learning curves, it's I promise you'll never stop using that clay. So we kind of have one ear looking pretty good. I think I corrected this other ear problem. Now I gotta fix it. Or do the inside. Oh, I see. We got this as well. So I'm just trying to fix these ear issues here. I wait and put all those spikes on and shouldn't have. Shouldn't have done that. Anyway, guys, so this has been fun. Been a lot of fun tonight, just jamming on this little guy. I hope you guys learned a little something. And let's see, when is going to be our next stream?
Oh, that's a good question. Because next Monday is the day after Christmas, and the Monday after that is the day after New Year's. And
yeah. So I think next Monday we'll be off air. I don't think we're doing Monday Night Monster Jam next Monday. Just a heads up warning, guys. The day after Christmas, nah. I think that's a chill day. So we'll probably, what's the one after?
New Year's.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. We could probably do something like on a Friday or something. We can talk about it.
Yeah, we'll see if we can fit one in between after Christmas and between New Year's. We'll see if we can fit a different day in or something.
Mm-hmm. We'll let you guys know. Follow us on the Facebook channel.
Yeah, we'll let you know. We'll see what we can do, because it would be cool to get another show in before the new year. And if you know anyone that would like this content or be into this, please send them our way. Please like and subscribe. As always, that's what's going to help the channel grow the most. I know we always have to say that, but it is what it is. And I hope you guys all have a great Christmas and a happy new year. I'm pretty much ready to get on with 2022 into 23
and see how that one goes.
Yeah, because this 22 years been a hell of a up and down ride, especially at the end of it. At least for me. Maybe not for everybody, but for me, it's been a little nuts. And I'd like it to chill out a little bit. So, that's pretty much it for me. Was there any other questions they had, or no? That was it?
No. So a lot of well wishes, happy holidays. My Mental Factory saying that's my birthday. Probably, I'm assuming my Mental Factory is talking about the Friday.
Oh, yeah.
And then, yeah, just a lot of well wishes from everybody.
Awesome, man. It's been awesome, guys. It's good to be back on the air.
Yes.
And we will be back with more hijinks and crazy stuff and all that good stuff for you guys in 2023. But we will try to get another show in before the new year if we can manage to make that work. And then you guys have a great Christmas. Be safe. And I hope to see all you guys back here soon. And we got more shows coming and more guests planned and all that good stuff. So we will let you guys know all we can as soon as we have all that scheduled and figured out. I will put this bust out for sale once I get it perfected to where I really like it and think it's good and finished and all cleaned up and beautiful. I'll put these out for sale if anyone wants one. And trying to think what else.
I think that's it.
That's really it. I mean, yeah, and also, 2023 I'll have more classes coming. Actually, some bigger news than that probably, but yeah, some more classes and stuff happening and whatnot. But yeah, it was fun just to mess with this guy. Got him a little bit further. I'm gonna keep tweaking on him a little bit by little bit as I get some free time, and then we'll be back. And what we'll do is that was what I was gonna say. We'll hit more sculpting episodes, and we'll even get into we'll try to get into some Sculpey episodes about Super Sculpey and other things. Maybe I can help people with problems they're having working in the clay, or I don't know, other things. All right, so that's it, guys. Thank you so much. It was great to hang out with all you guys again tonight. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for hanging with us. And like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next Monday Night Monster Jam, which will be episode 31. Peace. Be safe. Be good. Bye for now.